Just don't become the get well guys. It's next on Locked On Jazz.
You are Locked On Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
How are you? I'm David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz, Jazz NBA insider. This is Locked On Jazz. It's your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz, give you insight, expertise, geeky numbers, and hopefully making it way better to be a Jazz fan each and every day. Thank you so much for making Locked On Jazz your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all podcasting apps as well as on YouTube. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. Everydayers, you're the greatest. Thank you so much. All right, let's get right to it today and try to figure out what happened on a weekend where the Jazz get smashed twice. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. I have an area of immense concern. That would be my thought coming into this. On the show, we'll do our Mondays. We're back to League Trends Monday. And so we'll do that. I'm excited to share that with you. I will do the same thing I've always done on Trends Monday. We look around the league, what's going on, and I won't pre-check it because then I have the same reaction you do to it. We'll talk about Lauri and Keyonte, who have really been marvelous. Really, really been marvelous in the first few games of this season. But let's start talking about the weekend that was not what we wanted. Opening night got us exciting, played well in Sacramento, went and played really, beat a Phoenix team, and then Portland came into town and got into us, and we'll talk more about that. And since then, it has been ugly. And I do strongly believe in the stat about being down 20, and we've now been down 20 in 3 straight games. So let's just start kind of just big picture for a second, and then I want to dig into the thing that's really my concern. Should we be disappointed, or, the Vegas line at one point had us as a team with the fewest wins of any team on the Vegas projection that since the Philadelphia 76ers in the process. Just about every prognosticator out there had us as, if not the worst team, right there with Brooklyn and Washington. There was 100% consensus on who we were. And I think Austin Age made the comment that we're going to try to play hard to win every night. And I think we're kind of doing that. And then we did it really well for 3 games. And then we got completely shellacked the last 2 against not very good teams. And so this is a bit stark, frankly, what just happened in the last few nights, because you begin to wonder where you play a decent Boston team and then an all right Detroit team. And what happens when we play a good team? We haven't played a good team yet. So I don't know whether it's a disappointment or reality check. It's certainly a stark 2-game shot of oh goodness, when I did the 240 minutes and I gave us 48 minutes at center with Nurkic and Kessler, and I gave us 12 minutes of Kyle Anderson, and then I thought I generously gave us Lauri for 33. That got us to a 81. That got us to 9, and then decided either Keyonte got us over 100 or not, and then you don't have Walker Kessler last night. And you're suddenly back under 100 minutes of established NBA rotation players. Okay, that's stark. So I think there has to be some understanding. But with that said, don't be the get well guys. Don't be the get well guys. And here's what I mean by that. I watched Charlotte's last 2 games. Con Knippel was awful. Orlando got into him. He couldn't dribble. He turned it over like 4 or 5 times. If he didn't, Minnesota was up on him. He went 1 of 8 shooting. Trey Mann had been horrific all season long. KJ Simpson is a borderline NBA player at this point. He's a G League player, got called up because LaMelo Ball was out. And they looked brilliant against us. They looked brilliant. Now, let's not kid ourselves. These are the greatest players in the world. And so even a guy like KJ Simpson, who's borderline, is still a pretty good player. Diabate, I don't want to degrade him. Like, he's one of 240 NBA players. He also was in the Clippers system for like 2 or 3 years, never got any time. Is in Charlotte kind of, they're really the team without a center. He had 17 points and 12 rebounds last night. Trey Mann has been truly miserable all season. And he had 13 and 4. Con Knipple is a good player. He can shoot threes. He's not a good athlete, but I'm not sure he can dribble under pressure. I'm not sure that he can play around the rim. He had 24, 6, and 5 last night and looked like a world beater. In Phoenix, the same thing's true. Like, guys who had just, Isho Iguodaro had been awful. He wasn't great against us. Colin Gillespie is not an all-star. Like, our guys cannot become the get-well guys. And that probably is an utter lack of physicality defensively. Or skill. I don't know. I mean, right now, what is going on ever since the Portland game, and this will continually come up, is that teams are straight line driving us. This is not happening in every game. Ron and I watched the Boston-Philadelphia game on the plane. Boston's defenders are moving their feet, getting guys cutting off the pass. VJ Edgecombe is unbelievable defensively for Philadelphia. Not everyone, but you can't just have guys straight line drive you, or you get caught on every single pick, and then they get to go down the lane, and then everyone rotates, and then the kick out pass happens, and the distance to recover is so long that you give up wide open 3 after wide open 3, and then guys look great because Colin Gillespie and Con Knipple and these guys are NBA players. They're great. They're unbelievable. They're 400 best players in the world. And so if they're wide open, butt naked open, zip code open, they're going to hit shots. And right now, we're the foil. Right now, we don't own our own space physically on the floor. We aren't dictating anything physically. We aren't impacting the game. We're just reacting. And when you just react to brilliant players, they're all going to look good. But as great as these 400 players are in the NBA, they're also flawed. Most of them. And you've got to be able to accentuate their flaws. You've got to make Con Knipple put the ball on the floor and try to navigate. He'll turn it over. You've got to make KJ Simpson do a bunch of things. He's borderline NBA player. You've got to be beating the crap out of Moussa Diabate because he's not physical enough to play center in the NBA. And right now, we're just reacting. The other thing that's happening is we're losing these games in short, immediate bursts. Like, guys are going to the bench in 6 minutes of playing being minus 20. Like, that's crazy. Now, we're short guys, right? When we did 240 minutes, we didn't have 240 minutes of NBA players. We have guys that are trying to prove themselves that aren't there yet. And some of them are having a really tough time right now. And when Lauri leaves the floor, we can't score. So we're short. Like, this is the reality. This is why the Vegas line for us was what it was. That's why when we did 240 minutes, it was what it was. Is when I did my points gained offense, it wasn't good. We got excited after game 1, 2, and 3 because we played really, really well and somehow kind of. And I even said, if you go back to the prediction show, I really said this was going to happen. That an early season start, we have the softest schedule to start the year. So we got some guys that are scuffling. It's hard. And we're losing these games in a flash. And it's largely when Lauri and Key are off the floor or when Lauri's off the floor. Like the differential right now on on-off stats is stunning. We're 27 points per 100 possessions better when Lauri's on the floor. We're not having Walker's going to be real. That was a 20 to 30, 25% of our rotation minutes that were established in the NBA. So it could be stark. Two guys have been absolutely brilliant. Let's talk about them next on Locked on Jazz. The Monday edition of Locked on Jazz is brought to you by Murdoch Chevy, located in Woods Cross, also in Logan. The Chevy truck, we're talking Silverado, we're talking Colorado, and the SUV lineup, the Equinox, the Blazer, the Trailblazer, and the King Poobahs of them all, the Tahoe and the Suburban. The Chevy lineup, there's nothing like it. And Murdoch, that's 90 plus years in Utah of making sure you have no regrets. If you're in the market now for a Chevy truck or Chevy car, feel free to email me at dlock09@gmail.com, and let's make sure that we get you the VIP treatment that you deserve at Murdoch Chevy, located in Woods Cross and in Logan. Email me. We'll get you set up. The winter season is coming. Now is the time to get in a Chevy truck, so let's do it over at Murdoch Chevy. Today's show is also brought to you by Robinhood, the new gold standard. Your ambition just met its match. With Robinhood, you play for the win, not just on game day, but every day, locking in on every opening, beating your PR, beating it again, channeling the drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto, all on one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools, or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com, your money. Again, that's Robinhood.com/your money, your move. Thanks so much for making Locked on Jazz your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked on the #1 sports podcast network. All right. Lauri and Keyonte have been just great. Like really, really great. In fact, what Lauri is beyond all-star level right now. And it is really, really cool to watch and deserves all the credit. And he's really altered his game a decent amount. The numbers I'm about to give you are from before the game last night. Lauri, going into last night, had scored 30 in 4 straight. He scores 29 last night. He is carrying us. I mean, the numbers I just gave you a moment ago were 17 points per 100 possessions better when he's on the floor offensively. We're 11 percentage points better when he's on the floor defensively. We're plus 27 per 100 possession when he's on the floor. Okay, that's real. The last night, he only got to the free throw line 2 times. So that ended a streak of 3 straight games of 10-plus free throws. 4 straight games of 30 points. Here's what's interesting about Lauri. He's gone from taking 6 twos a game to taking 11. And he's shooting 61% on twos going into last night's game. I have not had a chance to update this. Last night on twos, he was 9 of 18, so that probably should not change it a great deal. So he's doing all of that inside the lane. He's drawing fouls. He also leads the NBA in catch and shoot opportunities. I mean, it's an incredible combination. It's truly like, start to think about it from a standpoint of like players in the league and how good he is and what he means. There's that great stat that he's the only player to ever have, 100 dunks and 200 threes in a season. But then you start to think about this, and it's like, okay, he's now shooting 61% on twos, call it 59 after last night. He leads the NBA in catch and shoot opportunities. What a combination. And then he's also going to the free throw line 9 or 10 times a night. I mean, truly, truly remarkable. And nothing he's doing right now is particularly outlandish. He's shooting 38% from three, and his career average is 37. His 2-point shooting is up. That's it. But otherwise, he is just off the charts. 33.7 rebounds. And then the final one is that his assist rate, which is the amount of times he assists when he's on the floor, is he's now assisting 11% of all baskets. He's actually, after last night, he's up to 13% of all baskets when he's on the floor, and he was at 7 last year. Really, really brilliant and cool to see. Like, guys getting better in their 8th year of the NBA career is pretty awesome. The other one is Keyonte. Boy, is he way better. He's doing so many things. He worked with Chris Jones, Jazz assistant coach, all summer long, and he's just committed, and he just is a completely different player right now. Last night, going into the game, again, sorry, haven't had a chance to update all these. That's what I do during the day. Going into the game last night, Key, who was 39 of his last 41 from the free throw line. And last night he was 8 of 9. So that continues. He's now, so we can do that math. He's 47 of his last 50. Wow. More importantly, though, that 50 is in 5 games. His free throw attempts in the last 5 games are 9, 11, 15, 8, and 7. This guy's gone from taking 4 free throws a game to taking 9 because he's gotten physically stronger. He's playing lower to the ground. He's attacking, and Will Hardy had a really interesting point that he's actually not trying to get calls anymore. He's actually just playing the game. He's getting an edge. He's athletic enough that he's getting a corner on guys. And then because he's athletic enough to get a corner on a guy, he's got the straight line to the basket. He's just playing straight line instead of flailing and trying to get calls. And his assist rate is through the roof. He's gone from assisting 27% of field goals while he's on the floor to assisting 41%. It's incredible. This is the natural progression, though. Me, you, everyone, we want things so immediately and so fast, understandably. No different than probably any other. This is not a generational comment. But Keyonte, in 5 days, will turn 22. He's in his 3rd year of the NBA. This is when players get better. This is when players get better. And that actually is going to be a part of our problem this season. Because we're going to want Ace Bailey, and we're going to want Walt Clayton, and we're going to want Isaiah Collier, and we're going to want Kyle Filipowski, and we're going to want Cody Williams to become way better right away. And honestly, when guys get better, it's between year 2 and year 3 in the NBA. That's when they kind of figure out whether they're going to be NBA players. Taylor Hendricks is on a different timeline because that injury, and Bryce Sensabaugh needs to get better. He's a great shooter, but he's got to figure out the rest of it because he's getting blown by right now at an alarming rate. It's tough. There was a moment in last night's game where Kyle Filipowski and Bryce Sensabaugh combined on a poor defensive play, and Bryce banged the ball to the ground, and Kyle punched the basketball standard. And it said to me that both of them know how much they're struggling defensively. Both of them know they have to get better defensively to play. And both of them want it really badly, and both of them are not entirely sure they know that they are capable of doing it. or that they know how right now. It was a really telling play to me last night. Because on one level, I think it just showed that they know, I've got to figure this out or I don't get to play in this league. And that's being established by Will. And at the same time, I think it early season frustration, like early to be that frustrated. But back to Key. The other thing on Key, he's been this good. He's not making shots yet. Now, his 2-point shooting percentage is way up. His rim finishing going into last night's game was up from 61 to 70%. And what you're seeing is an elevation and a vertical finish that he did not have a year ago. Again, he and Chris Jones have worked super hard on this. He's playing lower to the ground, which is allowing him to actually explode and get up over guys, and he has an athleticism he hasn't had before. His short little floater's hitting at 57%. He's 17 of 30. That might be too high. It's up from 41%. So a huge difference playing in that range. And then his rim finishing, he's 8 of 12 so far this year at 67%. Missed one last night. He is not shooting the three yet. Now, he's, I've said this about Key a lot, like the ball at some point has to go in. But this kid's a 84% career free throw shooter, 93% free throw shooter. Everything says that ball should go in at some point. And I think he gets electrically hot here at some point. The other one I would very subtly say is he is 5 of his last 14 from three. Like, it's coming. Now, the one concern, frankly, on both these guys is we're going to break them. Because right now, Keyonte and Lauri are on an island by themselves. And Lauri has not been, despite his Ivan Drago-esque body, Lauri has not been the most durable player in the NBA. Let's ignore the last 2 years because there were some shutdowns there. But 66, 61, 51, 50, 52, and 68 are the games played. Never played more than 68 games. That was his rookie year. Then 52, 50, 51, 61, 66, and then the last 2 years have been what they have been. So that's a little bit unnerving. Because at the rate and the physicality and the effort that we're asking out of Lauri right now, I think it falls apart at some point. Just physically breaks down. Key's been 75 and 67 games. He's been a little more durable. All right, trends Monday. Oklahoma City is obviously the hottest team in the league. Maybe. Who are the hottest offense? Who are the hottest defenses? Who can't score? Who can't stop someone? We find out next on Locked on Jazz. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. If you want to get into the action, get into the arena, get into the game, be all a part of it, then do it with Game Time. With basketball season officially here, football season still going on, concert season never stops. Nothing beats being the arena for all those events. So let's be real. Getting tickets can be a total headache, but waiting in queues, surprise fees, prices that jump before checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is have a great night out. That's where Game Time comes in. The app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack. Scoring amazing tickets, fast, easy, and stress-free. I used them all summer to grab concert tickets. That's like my favorite thing. Love to go watch those things. Try to do it, grab some hockey and some other things as we are traveling on the road here coming up. And the zone deals are game changers. You pick the section, Game Time picks your seat, and you save big. You can even find seats under $25. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. That's $20 off your first purchase with the code LOCKEDONNBA. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Today's show is also brought to you by Rougette. Rougette is here to help you when it's time to perform. And we're going to give you 15% off as well. Let's be real. Making excuses does not solve anything. You've heard them. It's I'm too stressed. I'm tired. It happens to everyone sometimes when it comes to performance. Sometimes your body just needs a little extra support, little jolt. And that's where Rougette comes in. Rougette.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Rougette makes it easy to get started. You can just connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online. No awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments. Prescribe. Your treatment ships discreetly straight to your door. The process is fast, simple, and private, and it's all handled by real doctors. It's about confidence, connection, and getting back to the moments that matter. Visit Rougette, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA to get 15% off your first order. Take it as a little performance enhancement and then be fired up about your performance. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA. And don't forget to use our code LockedOnNBA so you know who sent you. That's RUGIET.com. Rougette, stop making excuses. Start making moves. Time for Trends Monday. We do this every single Monday, and usually we look at the last 10 games and 5 games. But we don't really have that, so we're just going to look at where everybody is as a whole right now, and kind of that's the look, right? So we're just going to take a quick look who leads in various different categories. Predominantly, we're going to look at offense and defense, and we'll look at then one of the other things we're going to look at is if there's something that says that maybe you're getting lucky. So let's look at who the hottest teams in the NBA are. The biggest surprise, the hottest teams overall, the 5 teams with the best differential are Oklahoma City, Houston, Denver, San Antonio, and the best team in the East so far, differential-wise, is Miami. Small sample size. Philadelphia is 6th. So surprising. The 5 teams on the bottom, New Orleans with a minus 17.5, Brooklyn with a minus 16, Washington a minus 13, Indiana minus 9, Dallas minus 8 are the bottom 5 teams. Memphis right there, Utah as well. So those are the bottom 5 teams in the NBA right now. Pelicans, so there's surprises. I don't think people thought Dallas was going to be there. I don't think I thought Indiana was going to be there. All right, who's the best offense in the NBA? It is the Houston Rockets, and they are doing something crazy. They're grabbing 42% of their offensive rebounds right now. They're shooting it fairly well, but not great. They're literally living by the value of the offensive rebound. Houston's effective field goal percentage, which last year was near the bottom of the league, is 4th best right now. So that's pretty good. They're playing a stunningly slow game because of the fact that they get so many offensive rebounds. And then they're grabbing 42% of their misses, and it's crazy. The league average over the years has always been about 33, and it's 31 right now. And they're at 42. Nobody else is over. We're at 37. We're second best in the NBA. Okay, so the number 1 offense in the NBA right now is Houston, followed by the Philadelphia 76ers with the 2 guards, VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey. Denver, who I projected to be the number 1 offense in all of the NBA, is the number 3 offense. Milwaukee is 4 with Giannis at point guard. And Ryan Rollins playing well. Chicago is 5. And last night's opponent, the Charlotte Hornets, is 6. Teams that can't score right now. Dallas has the worst offense in the NBA. Indiana, Washington, New Orleans, and Cleveland. Super surprising to see Cleveland there. And Atlanta, Trae Young been in and out of the lineup with Quinn Snyder. Surprises you there. Okay. This is why Trends Monday is interesting. Best defenses in the NBA. Oklahoma City by 4 points better than anybody else. Crazy. Without Jalen Williams. San Antonio's next with Victor. Then Miami, Denver, and Portland. So, okay, I could turn out to be wrong. Portland is convinced that they're going to be a top 5 defense with this pressure style, and maybe they're going to get it done. Cleveland is 6th, by the way. Here's an interesting one for us. Detroit, the teams the Jazz have played so far this year. Sacramento's 27th, Charlotte's 25th, Phoenix is 21st, and the Clippers are 20th. So Portland's the only high-level defense we've played yet. Our next set of games is against Detroit, who's 7th, Boston, who's 13th, and then Minnesota, strangely, is not defending at all yet this year. So we'll see what happens with that. The 5 teams that are not defending in the NBA right now, Brooklyn, New Orleans, Washington, Sacramento, and the Jazz. Charlotte's 26th. Minnesota, strangely, is 23rd, by the way. Okay. So those are the hot teams decluttered. Here's one we're going to look at. One of the things you look at this time of year is whether or not there's some outliers. Okay. Let me explain this concept to you. So if we look at three-point shooting, last year the league average was on three-point shooting was 30, I think 5. Right now it's 35.8 this year. It was 36.5 last year. Okay. And the best three-point shooting defense in the league was 34.6. And the worst was 38.7. So there was a 4 percentage point differential between the best and the worst in the NBA last year at three-point shooting. If you go take out the top 3 teams, let's take the top 4 teams out. Top 3 teams. You don't really have to take that many. You get the 35.5% was the 4th best team in the league defensively against a 3. And the 4th worst was 37.6. Okay, now we're within a 2-point differential. 2 shots over 100 is the difference between the 4th best defense and the 27th rank, the 3rd best and the 27th rank. There is a real feeling because of that inside the analytical world that 3-point defense overall is just luck. But again, the league average was 36, and almost everyone was between 35.5 and 37.5. Okay, there was, like, just to give them credit, Chicago was the best at 34.6 and Oklahoma City at 34.8. Maybe they were doing a little something to cause 1 extra miss per 100 shots. Not a lot. I have some theories about this that we'll discuss in the upcoming days about what this is doing to the league. But right now, there's a wide variance. Right now, the best is 29 and the worst is 44. Okay, that will come down. It has to. So Indiana, who's not very good, is allowing 30% of opponents' threes to go in right now. They're just getting lucky. That number will get probably to 35.5. There are 4 teams, maybe even more, that are getting particularly lucky right now. Indiana, Philadelphia teams are shooting 31% from 3. Denver teams are shooting 32% from 3. Atlanta, they're shooting 32%. And Dallas, they're shooting 33. And Miami, they're shooting 33. And Chicago was there until last night because it will eventually even out. So those teams are the benefactors right now of good luck. And watch that trend. It will swing back on those teams. And all of them are like borderline top 10 effective field goal percentage defense teams, but they're not. Brooklyn, New York, this is scary. San Antonio, Memphis, Charlotte, and are kind of the ones that are having it the other way. Charlotte's 38.6, so they got 1 percentage point to go. Memphis is 39.1, San Antonio's 39.8, New York's 39.8, and Brooklyn's a strange line, 44% from 3. We're allowing 37.0. Honestly, I kind of think that's what we're going to allow this year. We allow a lot of open threes with the way we're playing defense, and it's inside the margin of error. Now, the league average right now is 35.8. It will increase as the year goes on. Corner threes are actually only being made at 37% right now, which is kind of an interesting little drop in the numbers. But so on Trends Monday, Indiana, Philadelphia, Denver, Atlanta, and Dallas and Miami are super fortunate. Miami's the 3rd best defense in the NBA. Denver's the 4th best defense in the NBA. I'm telling you, I think those are probably not real. Dallas is the 8th best defense in the NBA. I'm telling you, I don't think that's real. But here's what's daunting. If you're Indiana, you're the 14th best defense in the NBA, and I'm telling you, I don't think that's real. And Atlanta's in here somewhere. And Atlanta is the 15th best defense in the NBA, and I'm telling you, I don't think that's real. So keep an eye on those teams because it's going to flip the other way on them at some point here. Teams are going to get hot to have big days against them. And Philadelphia is the 19th best defense in the NBA, and that doesn't seem to be real. That is Trends Monday. That is Locked on Jazz. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Jazz, Boston Celtics tonight. Tune in on your drive home. Also, remember, on Jazz Plus, you hit the stream button and hit the radio and join in and follow us there. This has been Locked on Jazz. Thanks so much for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. Thanks for being a part of the whole season with us and riding this route with us. We now send the first ever national 24/7 channel, Locked on NBA on YouTube. Plus, check out Game Night, every game, every night on Locked on NBA.